With Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, the Governor of the Central Bank Hassan Abdullah, the Minister of Planning and Economic Development Hala Saeed, and the Minister of Finance Mohammed Mait on Tuesday. Presidential spokesman Ahmed Fahmy said President El-Sisi reviewed the latest indicators of overall performance of Egypt's economy and the implementation of an initiative to reduce basic commodity prices. President El-Sisi was also briefed on the most important economic targets and cooperation efforts with various internal financial institutions in this regard. The head of state directed to strengthen reforms related to financial and monetary policies and maximize the role of the private sector in the development process. This comes within the framework of the state's ongoing efforts to improve the overall indicators of the economy. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli stressed on Tuesday the significance of Egypt's pivotal role amid the Gaza war. At a cabinet meeting in the new administrative capital, Madbouli referred to the expanded international participation in the Cairo Summit for Peace hosted by Egypt, as well as Cairo's efforts to guarantee that humanitarian and medical aid reach Gaza. The Prime Minister reviewed the outcome of his visit to China on behalf of President El-Sisi and attended the Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation, which witnessed the signing of crucial agreements in development fields, as well as meetings with heads and representatives of big Chinese firms and key international finance institutions. On the other track, the Prime Minister asserted that the government in the coming stage would empower the private sector in fields focusing on localizing industry as one of the national targets. Madbouli also probed the executive position of an initiative aimed at reducing the prices of key commodities. Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry took part in a UN Security Council ministerial session over the latest developments in the Middle East on Tuesday. Shoukry reviewed Cairo's vision and assessment of the dangerous military escalation in Gaza. He called for an immediate and permanent ceasefire in Gaza, as well as an end to the Israeli siege. The top diplomat reviewed efforts to provide protection for Palestinian civilians in Gaza and allowed the entry of humanitarian aid in a sustainable manner. On the sidelines of the session, Arab foreign ministers held a joint press conference to reveal the Arabs' position regarding the current Gaza conflict. Efforts by Cairo to contain the strife and the warnings against the dangers of extending the conflict to new regions topped the agenda of the session. The head of Egypt's State Information Service, Diar Ashwan, held an international press conference on Tuesday to clarify Egypt's position on the ongoing war in Gaza. During the conference, which was attended by representatives of foreign and Egyptian media, Ashwan affirmed that Egypt had not abandoned the Palestinian cause since the latest escalation had begun. He noted that Egypt had warned last December of the deteriorating situation in the occupied Palestinian territories due to Israeli aggression. Ashwan further iterated that Egypt views that the Palestinian cause should be settled in accordance with international legitimacy, UN resolutions and negotiations, which called on a two-state solution with Jerusalem as its Palestinian capital. He said Egypt called last April in a joint statement with France, Germany and Jordan for an immediate and comprehensive ceasefire. According to Ashwan, Egypt later in May had condemned the Israeli aggression in the occupied Palestinian territories, especially after settlers stormed Al-Aqsa Mosque. He noted that Egypt's constant position towards the Palestinian cause during the past 75 years had been confirmed by President El-Sisi at various occasions, who labeled it the cause of causes, which would never die. On the ground, aid and relief materials continued entering from Egypt into Gaza Strip through Rafah border crossing. A third new convoy of 20 trucks entered into the Strip carrying water, medical needs, food, including 9 trucks affiliated to the Egyptian Red Crescent and 6 other affiliated to the Egyptian Food Bank. Meanwhile, dozens of trucks carrying thousands of tons of international relief aid heading to Gaza are lined in front of the Rafah border crossing or in Al Arish, northern Sinai. Earlier, 37 trucks entered Gaza during the previous 2 days. French President Emmanuel Macron said on Tuesday there had to be a decisive relaunch of the Middle East peace process following talks with leaders in Israel. Macron said he had proposed this in